Hi, I'm Doug Maiden from Beck Technology, Customer Success. This is a quick intro as to what I'm going to show in just a moment. The topic is really geared towards subject matter experts that actually have read-write permissions to Data Manager. I want to share with you some insights as to being able to set up Data Manager so it's more effective for the end user, for your estimators, to have a higher velocity in doing automatic takeoff. In Data Manager, you can set up a unit of measure so that you can indicate to your takeoff that you want it to be a line takeoff as opposed to a area takeoff. So let me demonstrate this. It's going to be with a partition. So I'll go find a partition, and most likely in the cost database. And most likely in all of the implementations, we specified the unit of measure to be maybe square feet, because it's the square feet of chipboard. So if I was to go in and say, look at a shaft liner, and immediately as I come into my shaft liner, you can see in the cost information view that the QTO takeoff condition by default is area. And again, that's because this unit of measure coming out of the database is square feet, or SF. And that's great for things like slab on grade or elevated deck, but it isn't great for walls. If you're trying to take a wall off in plan, you want to get the vertical square footage. And that's what's important about a unit of measure. I'm going to jump over to Data Manager in just a moment on this. Now, what I would say on all of this is that this is for the SMEs that have read-write access into Data Manager. So not everyone needs to do this, but it's good for everyone to know and encourage those that have Data Manager access rights to start to consider implementing this. So short demonstration here is, if your Data Manager isn't set up properly at the moment, no harm, no foul. You could always change the type from area to line, and then you could start drawing your line. Now, one other part to this is that the line property can take area into consideration, which is great. And if I was to go ahead and just draw a line just for a moment and then release, notice my quantity is still 0. And that is because area still doesn't have a concept of the entire calculation. I did get my length, so I see length here, but I didn't put a height in. So I would have to come back in here and maybe set the height of the wall to 10 feet. And now automatic pricing, I get the area. Now, let me just peel back over to Data Manager for just a moment. In Data Manager, in the Units of Measure tab, we have the standard units of measure that you would typically have for your implementation. Well, here's the thing, again, that's really important. Coming down to SF, what you're going to notice with square feet, or SF, as I come back up here to the top, here it is, there is a column that is the standard units, and it is tagged as SQ foot. And that is then indicating to automatic pricing, you must want to be in area. Now, a really quick, easy way to pivot and get a line for your vertical walls is to simply consider using a new unit of measure, which would be VSF, or vertical square feet. Now, I've already done this already in Data Manager, so you're going to kind of see the end result in just a moment. So identified a quantity formula, which is length. That's parametric for a line. And then I've also embedded height, which when I do this takeoff, just like I did a moment ago, I will have to set the height of that wall as well. Jumping back over to DESTINI Estimator, I can go ahead and find that partition, which is the gypsum board partition. Notice immediately when I select on this one, it is automatically defaulting to a line takeoff. You can see the line draw style, and of course you can see the properties. Here's the thing, since I've declared that to be VSF, it immediately knew that it should be a line. And even one thing that's also pretty cool is, because I had indicated that I wanted length and I wanted height, and that's a formula that I had already embedded in, length and height, you can see that these will automatically be taken off as well. So if I just go ahead and draw a line for my wall partition, you'll immediately see that I'm getting automatically the length of that wall. And then finally, I just have to set the height as before. So if I go ahead and set this height at 12 feet, then I'm getting my square foot area, vertical square foot area. One final thing, just food for thought. You might have different wall heights. So as you're doing this type of takeoff, you may want to consider setting a indicator in the takeoff conditions, such as 12 feet, maybe 12 feet high or something like that. And that way, if you do additional takeoff and you have, say, 18-foot high walls or 15-foot high walls or 10-foot high walls, then all the team estimators can go in and pick the appropriate wall height and just continue to keep on drawing.